Fine. We're here. We're live. We're recording. We're all happy, healthy-ish, and alive, at least. Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. It's episode 370. One of your hosts, Ben, here with a returning Aadil.
Hey, it's been a minute.
It has. Quite a long minute.
Search party was there. Ropes, flashlights, everything.
Snacks.
Looking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Lucy.
Hi. I'm back.
Hooray, hooray, hooray. Let's kick in to some beers. Aadil, why don't you start us off?
Me? Yeah, that's great. I've talked about the Hop Knocker, I think, a fair bit since I moved here to Durham. And Ben, the custodian, or the man who runs the place, made the following claim, that although he is a big fan of Vault City, his favorite sours are by this Italian brewery called Pastore.
Yes, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have a Pastore and Maltgarden collaboration called Il Diplomatico. It's plum and amaretti semi-freddo sour, 6%. The Italian pastry sour in the triple pastry bonanza involving Neon Raptor and Malt Garden. This is a semi-freddo pastry sour brewed with malt garden, fermented with a fresh mixed culture, conditioned on plums, amaretti, honeycomb, and vanilla. Yeah. So
I'm so angry. You disappear for several weeks, and you come back with like a beer from one of my favorite breweries. But
why
to be
are you
fair,
angry?
Because I'm angry. Because I want some more Pastore. I like their just their house saison. That's lovely.
I'll keep an eye out
I
for
think
that.
they're I think I've had some of their sours, and I just think I prefer their just their saisons and like mixed firm beers or whatever. But yeah, they're in Cambridgeshire somewhere. And yeah, I've been meaning to visit them. So I hate you.
Yeah, so they're in Water Beach, Cambridge.
Yeah.
And then their EU importer is apparently in Denmark. But they are Italian, from what I understand, actually, like the brewers.
Yeah.
At least what Ben told me, yeah.
Not me.
The other Ben.
Yeah. Lucy, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a beer from Wales, gone back to Wild Horse Brewing. And this is the Tram Car IPA, which we spoke about last time. It's got some flavor text. This is our tribute to the iconic Llandudno tram, which I saw, didn't go on, which carries thousands of pleasure seekers from the town to the summit of the Great Orme each year. I did go to the summit of Great Orme.
Didn't take the tram. Did you walk?
I drove.
Okay, fair.
Excuse me, Ben. I walked along the beaches. That was enough walking for me. I walked like 25k. Yes, I went to the summit. I have the thingy to prove it, because it was a really nice drive up. Yeah, I wasn't going to walk. I had walking boots, but I wasn't going to walk all that way. Hell no. I much preferred just driving and listening to tunes with the sunroof open.
That's fair.
And just sitting in my car.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
Yes. Anyway, Tram Car is a bold, hazy IPA with a pronounced bitter finish. Brewed with Mosaic, Idaho 7, and Chinook hops. It's written in Welsh as well. Let's say it was 6.5% because it is.
Nice, cool. Good. For me this evening, I'm drinking collaboration beer. I saw it and instantly didn't look at what beer it was, didn't look at the percentage of it, but it's from Verdant and it's a collaboration with Garage. So I'm like, I hate you too. I've seen two names.
Hate you all.
That's a beer for me. But it is an IPA. It's 6.5%. It's called Uncensored Sports Parade. It was canned at the start of the month. on the 3rd of May. It has got Citra on the hot side, and then Citra, Nectaron, and Ruwaka on the cold side. That's all they write. Nothing about any of the other ingredients apart from allergens of barley and oats. So yeah, and the can is you're over there. That's the can.
Nice can.
Yeah, very simple. And we'll roll round. Back to the Pastore, Aadil.
So, oh wow. So you're getting that amaretti and plum off the nose. I really like where the plum's sitting. It's just like you get the sweet, slightly stoned fruit, as like an immediate but undertone, because it's like, oh yeah, plum, and then the amaretti kind of comes in on top and then fades away. Oh, that is a very nice smelling sour. Oh wow. First of all, also it's this. I think it looks a bit orange on camera, but it is, I would say, more like a salmony pink.
Okay.
Oh.
I think that's just a tone of my lights.
Interesting. I don't get many kind of salmon-coloured beers. Even sours, you don't get them maybe quite that tone.
What breed of salmon are we talking about?
I think like Tesco's pre-prepared sushi.
That looks
slightly
very
more orangey. Salmon,
that looks like GM orange, but yeah, tasty.
This is really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna
bask in it
a couple of times. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely a sour. It's not. It is tart. It is a sour, but it's not in your face. It's got a lovely finish. Lingers a bit tart. Out only spots in your mouth, so you can kind of like seek it out, but it's not overwhelming.
Okay.
Again, you've got that plum on the taste. It was more of an undertone. The amaretti is actually, I would say, like a bit softer than it is on the nose. And then it just spikes into this lovely tart hit that's still sort of held back by the sweetness of the plum just a bit, in taste-wise. It's really excellent. If you handed this to me and didn't tell me the things, I don't know if I would pick out specific tastes so much as this is a really solid, really well-rounded, tasty sour. It's like, this is the kind of sour you'd give to someone who wanted to actually try a sour, but was unsure, rather than like a starter sour that's not too sour. This is doing the sour stuff. It's tart. It's not in your face. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but it still has a long finish of sour. It's just like it's not like too big. So if it wasn't your cup of tea, you would be like, oh god, I'm stuck with this. If it is, you're like, oh. And I think they said something about like vanilla on the tin. And that's very much that, I think, that chopper of a bit of like sweet vanilla and the honeycomb. It's just flattening it out, making it so that there's something to like sort of offset that sort of peak tart. So it's not like, ugh. This is a very fucking good beer.
Good.
Nice. Good. Because I think that's definitely one I've wanted to try, so I must do better to seek it out.
Also, I think I missed the look at this can.
I got good cans with those deer Baphomet,
like a ram sort of.
Yeah, ram.
So there's like the plums and a little amaretti cake or something being served by Baphomet, basically. Yeah, Baphomet. But you need to look close, right? Those are oven mitts.
Nice.
And an apron.
Oh, that's very good.
And pushed up sleeves, so you can see how spindly the arms are, because that makes the oven mitts pop. It's a very good piece of art. The art is by Sam Griffiths, which is at Donkey Dasher, if you're curious. I really like this can, and I really like this beer.
One for the furries.
Good. Lucy!
Are you saying you're getting a semi-Fredo right there? Sorry.
More than semi.
Tram Car, Lucy. Another one for the furries.
Yeah,
It's just horses. Hang on.
It smells great. Like tropical fruits, mango, like really ripe mango as well. Maybe a bit of guava, a bit of passion fruit, just tropicalness. Oh yeah.
That's the face.
I'm gonna bask as well. I'm gonna bask. And it's just come out of the fridge, so I imagine the flavour's gonna develop even more. But that is nice. That is really nice. I've obviously had this beer before because we were talking about it 2 weeks ago. Did I have it on tap? Maybe I did. Anyway, this is really good. This is really good.
Good.
Like all of that tropical fruit just translates over into the taste as well. As I say, a bit of guava, a bit of passion fruit, mango. It's I guess it's just darker than straw, maybe. Probably looks more orange where you two are, but it's a really good looking beer. Nice, really nice lacing on the glass. Not much carbonation running up the glass, but it tastes really hoppy. It tastes really fresh. And I spoke about the saison that I brought up. I was like, oh, maybe that didn't do the trick. I'm starting to think that maybe it was just not a great beer, but this is, because this just feels so fresh. And I mean, I guess it also depends on when they brewed, when they canned as well. But this just tastes super fresh, really refreshing. I mean, Mosaic, you can definitely taste those hops. Extra fruit from the Idaho 7 as well. It's really good, and it's just balanced out with that bitterness as well. It's not overly sweet. It's not like a fruit bomb or anything like that. It's just perfectly balanced. Like lots of fruit, decent amount of bitterness, good body. Yeah, I really like this. I should have picked up more. Damn it.
I don't know how much you see them about, but I think Tram Car was the first beer I tried from Wild Horse, and you still sit about now. So and maybe cans lying around the streets of Birmingham,
empty ones or. There's plenty of those. So good. When was the last time I had a beer? It can't be that long ago. It must have been like Saturday. It's just like, this feels like I haven't drank in like 6 weeks. It gives me that feeling. What I'm trying to say. I'll reiterate.
Everything froze.
Okay. It's very good.
Good.
You'll hear that on the recording. It's very good.
Perfect. Well, everyone listen back to the audio recording because there it is.
Instead of, very in a non-poetic way, which I was going into.
It's fair.
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
I'm glad. We all know Garage. We all know they make super soupy beers. As I was pouring this, you got that thickness on it through that pour. It's got a lovely nose, very light, very fruity, but it's so light in colour. It's not even straw. It's so sort of, I don't know. It's almost it's like almost like pineapple colour, I suppose. That really, really light yellow.
Pulpy.
And it has got a thickness to it, but it's not quite soupy. It's not quite what you kind of get from soup and other beers that kind of Garage make. It hasn't quite got that viscous, thick element to it, but it does have a lovely full body, and it's very, very smooth. It is nice and wet as well. So whilst it's a little bit fuller, it just slips straight back. You know, it's not oily. It's not sort of sludgy. It's got none of that to it. It's very, very easy to drink. And the flavour is kind of quite subdued, really. Talking about the mouthfeel to it being the thing that I pick out first. The flavours they're good, but they're quite standard. They're, you know, coming through.
No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I want it to be like not huge, bombastic. Ben's head just like floats into the sky.
So it is. It's a lovely flavour, and it's after the second sip, it sits quite a while with you as well. So I'm still getting that flavour. There's a lot of kind of tropical fruit in there, and it feels like it's a little bit of a mix of maybe a touch of pineapple, a little bit of mango, maybe a touch of grapefruit in there as well. Not a huge amount, but it gives you a lovely sweetness. And then it just starts to bitter up a little bit and lead into this nice piney finish. And whilst I say it's pretty standard, you know, it's those tropical fruits, it's leading into a piney finish, they all run through very nicely. This is probably the best 6.5% or around 6 odd % IPA I've had for a while. Because
you haven't had Tram Car.
No, that's true. I have not had that beer for a while. But the body to it and the level of flavour that they are kind of getting out, even though it is kind of standard-ish sort of flavours, is just very good. They work incredibly well together. And I like
that
how it's
good, then.
It is. I like how the flavour just sticks around as well. That I'm not sort of going, okay, it's dried me out. I've got to go back to it. This is nice and wet. It just allows the flavour to kind of go through a couple of peaks and troughs. So you get that fruity, tropical sweetness. It drops down and the piney, bitter, not even finish comes in. That's more of the bitterness to it. Because that fades very slightly and just allows that fruitiness to pop back up again. And both of those flavours just kind of see you out. And even now I'm still getting little bits of pineapple just sort of peeking kind of at the back of my mouth. And it's really, really nice. It just works very, very well. So yes, standard flavours that people know from an IPA, but just done really, really well. And it's almost got no carbonation to it, so it's so super smooth. I think that's the selling point of this beer, that smoothness, and that's what Garage bring to a lot of their beers. Just so smooth and full-bodied beers that then combined with the kind of, you know, combined with Cornish water and a few of the sort of the hops that they've chosen, has just made a really just it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
I want to go to Barcelona. They're in.
They are, yes, yeah.
I used to go to Barcelona again.
Never been.
I think it's nice.
How do they say it in Spanish?
I mean, I won't say.
We keep saying like I call them garage, but that's because it's the same word for a garage. But obviously, our North
garage.
American friends would say
Garage.
No, it's garage.
Garage? Yeah. Okay.
Garage. Garage. A car hold.
Ooh.
Oh, it had to creep in somewhere, didn't it? Good. Let's enjoy these beers, and we'll move on to games. Who would like to kick us off this week?
I'll go because
Cool.
you know, better my voice goes at the start
Sure.
than at the end, and I just can't talk. which may be a blessing for some people.
Lol.
I played and finished Planet of Lana, which
nice.
is an indie game that came out a few weeks ago. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Bingo cards, everyone. Very much in the vein of Inside. I think it takes a lot of inspiration from Inside. I mean, Inside wasn't the first platformer to do like, very cinematic kind of, puzzle platformer. I mean, those have been around for decades, but I feel that Inside is like the pinnacle. It is very much I'm going to the right to try and infiltrate this basically War of the Worlds for alien robot facility. Because the game starts off, it's no spoilers, it starts off with, you're in this like quaint little village, not sure what planet you're on or if it's Earth. There's some weird creatures and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of like in the collectibles that you pick up, like the lore and the backstory. I've only found 5 out of 10 of them, so I need to get some more and fill out this very hieroglyphic tapestry that's supposed to tell you the origin of the world and stuff like that. But it's sort of like Earth-ish village, and then people start to get abducted by aliens who fall from the sky. War of the Worlds. It's very colourful, and I think that's even though it's trying to be a bit more not dark, but have some kind of peril with the aliens coming and abducting people. It doesn't quite have the body horror or shock and awe that Inside has. And it's probably not going for that. But it's very colourful. It's got a beautiful art style, like Ghibli-esque. The animation's really good. Obviously not to the level of Inside, but it is still pretty good. And the interesting gimmick in this one is that you have this little cat companion called Mew, something like that. But my nice little cat companion. She follows you around basically, and it's how to. I guess it's more using the cat companion for the girl character that you play as to traverse the world, because the cat is quite athletic as a cat is. They can reach higher positions and they can do different movesets and different abilities that the girl doesn't have. Apart from getting into water, the cat can pretty much go everywhere, and it's really good push and pull of leaving the cat in certain places or directing it to go to other places, or having it reach higher platforms or going into small crawl spaces and stuff like that. And it's just that it's very intuitive. It sets up the controls really well, and the puzzles get I wish they ramped up a bit quicker, but they do get gradually harder. I never had any issues with the puzzles overall because I don't think any of them are that challenging. So.
Quick question. Are you controlling both characters and switching between them, or are you just controlling the girl and telling the cat what to do?
Yeah, you're just controlling the girl.
Right.
And you direct the cat, you point, or there's a button prompt for it to pass you a vine so you can climb up it, or chew through a rope, or burrow through a hole. And the cat and the girl herself start getting a bit more otherworldly kind of abilities further on, which I won't spoil. But it's really good. I know we've been talking to Lee about it in the Discord. He's slightly underwhelmed by it, but he can't put his finger on why, because it's a solid game, and it's it's as I was saying to him, maybe the visuals and the music, which is absolutely fantastic, maybe those should have commanded better gameplay. As I say, the puzzles are not really hard. They're very well made, but they're not hard, they're not difficult, they're not challenging. And there's no sense of real stakes in the game.
Mm.
Like even though there's like peril, it's not like, as I say, like Inside, where it's like, some of the creepy crawlies in that you just don't want to get near, and you just don't want to see
just
the million ways
tense.
in which this. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not tense, and it's like, I kind of like that because it was just I'm not really been playing games recently, and it's like this was just something to ease me back in. It's like, okay, I've played a billion of these, but it's still standing out with the whole cat mechanic, and I can just play it, mostly turn 90% of my brain off, and it kind of plays itself. But yeah, so it's I really enjoyed it. Maybe if you're looking for something else, something a bit more impactful, a bit more tense, a bit more grandiose, then this isn't it. But for what it is, judging it by its own merits, it's really good. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice. I just had a quick look to see what else the team who made it, called Wishfully, had made. It looks like it's their first game.
Swedish. Yeah, the Swedish team, first game. So yeah, I mean, that's nothing to, poo-poo, is it? It's like very good, very well made, very well polished, like no bugs. Really
absolutely,
good.
And like you can look at one screenshot of this game and instantly be drawn in as well. Like the art style, the vibrancy of kind of the world that they've made is very inviting, especially when you have these kind of images which are this lush green environment with then maybe something else going on, like the robots or something in the distance that might sort of create a sense of intrigue and not necessarily tension, but kind of draws you in that little bit more. So think, what's going on over there? I can play this game and sometimes find out.
Just in between the puzzles where it's like the camera pulls back and it's like you're away from the puzzle, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a really pretty game. I'm not having this sense of like, I don't know, swelling emotion when that happens, but it's like, ooh, very pretty. Love the colours.
It's interesting because this kind of aesthetic and the kind of games that it sort of like evoke, something like Ori perhaps, and stuff around that, do have a connection that people get with that. They have a sort of an orchestral score which does give you a sense of varying emotions that it pulls you through, as well as kind of what's happening kind of on the screen.
And this has a similar score as well. So maybe I'm just dead inside.
Well, so I was going to say maybe it's that, and this is maybe what Lee is not wrestling with, but isn't quite experiencing. It doesn't quite have that same connection, potentially.
No.
There isn't something that's drawn you in enough to make you not necessarily care about the characters, but have that same level that something like Inside or something like Ori does. And that's Ori I mean, Ori made by a very established team. Not to say that these guys don't know what they're doing, but again, as a first outing, you can very much see how a sequel to this, or a game in a similar kind of vein, building on the basis of this, would then just be that next kind of step up to it.
Yeah. Weird, because I'm very much a cat person. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, some kind of disconnect. Shall I briefly talk about one other game?
Yeah.
My voice is still holding up.
Still there.
Is that just
just about. I only started it yesterday because I only got a code for it yesterday. It's called The Shape of Things, which it's made by the same people who made Tiny Lands, which we all played and enjoyed.
Nice.
You can very much see the lineage from Tiny Lands to this, where cutesy-ish art style, but this is, instead of like a hidden object game, this is like a manipulating object game, sort of like not quite like I Am Dead I guess it's kind of like that. Instead of like dissecting things and taking things apart, it's kind of like the opposite, where you're rotating parts of an object so they fit together. But it has got that like same kind of, very soft pastel art style that like I Am Dead had, and like Tiny Lands had. Yeah, it's, as I say, it's basically you're going into these different levels, which is, let me rewind, because the way you select the levels is this is a chill game.
Sure.
And it's a chill game because basically the UI, the menu, the home screen is basically this little room. You got your little desk, you got all your knickknacks and things, and it's like, oh, there's a window out there and you can change the time of day and the weather just to get this like, oh, this little, I'm in this room, it's very chill, it's very ambiance, it's very lo-fi beats to chill with, if that anime girl sitting at her window or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The cat. It's very much that. And it's you basically select a level by going to this little gotcha machine that you have in the corner. No idea why, but you basically have tokens, and I think it's, well, for now it's 7 tokens to unlock a new set of levels. I don't know if that's going to increase or as the game goes on, but you basically start out with enough to open up the first world, and then in each world, which has different settings, I've so far done like one that's very garden themed, one that's like, it seems to be like circus themed and stuff like that, but there's about 10 different objects in each that you can basically rotate the pieces so they all fit together nicely. That's the mechanic, twisting objects and making sure they all fit together. To make it a bit easier, or well, I guess it would have been too convoluted if each piece of the puzzle had a different way that you could rotate it and enlarge it and stuff like that. In this, there's each piece only has like, it can only be spun on one axis or in one direction, or it can only be enlarged, or it can only be moved laterally or something like that. So it's like, that makes it easier to decipher and determine what size, what angle each piece should be. Because if it was all like, all of them had these different permutations, then it would have been too difficult to.
It's not it's not like a 3D puzzle with where all of your pieces are kind of scattered around at the side, and you have to sort of find the first piece and build off of that. It has that feel to it, but it limits kind of the variety, I suppose.
Yeah. Obviously I haven't played with children's toys for a very long time, but I'm trying to think of a example of, it's like a Rubik's Cube almost, but it's like, okay, it's very limited in like, okay, you can only move it in certain directions and there's certain colours on each side. It's not like you're having to colour in each square as well. And yeah, it's very calm. It's got a nice soundtrack. I don't know if it's the same song playing over. I don't know. I've been in such like a chilled, relaxed state playing it that I haven't really noticed, but maybe that could be a bit of a, maybe just put on a podcast whilst playing.
Is it a bit of a podcast game?
Oh yeah, it's the ultimate podcast game, where you just forget you're playing it sometimes because it's just so, the smooth pieces are smoothing my brain over as well, and it's just, very tactile, and sometimes it can get a bit finicky, where it's like, I feel like I've lined up everything, and it does give you like a slight, margin of error where things may not be connected completely 100%, and it'll still click together. So it can be a bit finicky sometimes, just getting to that point where everything just, you're like, yep, you've done the level, but just knowing that when I do finally just twist the right thing in the right place, it has this really nice click sound, and it's just level done. that's what you live for.
Nice.
That makes everything okay. Any frustration before that little click, you're done. Very nice. Move on to the next level. But yeah, it's, as I say, I'm not too far into it, but it feels like a game that it's like, pick up and play when I get 20 minutes. Because I'm playing it on Steam Deck, works perfectly fine. It's got joystick controls. Maybe if you want a bit more accuracy, play it with a mouse. But really, the controllers, you're literally just moving. Can't remember which analog stick it is. Basically left and right, and it's got that very small degree of, accuracy in the joystick. So I don't know how much better a mouse would be, but it works great on the Steam Deck. So
yeah,
I'd rather play it on there.
That's fair. Nice.
That makes
nice.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. It's currently very positive in its reviews on Steam. Only 26 reviews on Steam.
Okay.
However, I think out of all of them, there's one which is not recommended, and they talk about the controls, essentially, being frustrating.
I can see someone getting a bit, frustrated with it, especially if the complexity of the objects goes up the further you go in. I could see that being a little bit of a this ain't great, but no, so far everything that only has like, I don't know, 4 to 6, 7 pieces, and it's quite obvious which ones need to, you as I say, with them only having, certain things you can do with the pieces, it's very clear in what you have to do, which way, which orientation you need, and which size you need. So yeah, but I get it. It's honestly what I fear if they do get if the puzzles do get a bit more complicated. So we'll see.
How long have you spent with it?
Not long, probably like half an hour.
Okay, right.
I've done the first 3 worlds, I believe. So, and I think there's about 30. So I'm probably only like a tenth of the way through. So not far.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews come in at around the sort of 1.5 to 2 hour mark.
Right.
That
Okay.
people have kind of put their reviews in. Some of them a little bit longer.
Probably about halfway.
And then people playing for kind of 8 hours,
Oh, wow.
6 hours, that
damn.
kind of thing.
They literally just fell asleep and left the game idle.
Potentially.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll check back in with it next week.
Amazing. Good. I've got a game that I've played 2 games.
Whoa!
This week.
Big spender.
You know that's not allowed.
I know. One is a 5-year-old game. Not a game for 5-year-olds, but a game that's made 5 years ago.
Okay.
I've started...
Wait. I need to do the maths because I'm going to be sad, but that's 2018?
It might actually be 2017. Yeah, 2017, 2018. One of those. Sure.
That's not 5 years ago. That's like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
To be fair.
From what I remember.
However, a lot has happened with this game. I've been playing a very, very small amount. I've started Shadow of War, which is the worst title for a game because no one knows now what that is.
Is that the orc game?
It's the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, which makes much more sense because it's a Lord of the Rings game, whereas Shadow of War can be fucking anything.
Yeah.
But I was
Those are like the 2 most common words in all of video.
Absolutely. I was
together.
just bopping around PlayStation Plus catalog, and it was there. Like, I'll give this a go. I never played. I really enjoyed the first game. I didn't play the sequel because it released to just a wealth of carnage with everyone being very unhappy with all of the currencies and microtransactions and all of those kinds of things. The game's in a state now where they got rid of all of it. Just got rid of all of it. They turned the store off, and it just exists as a single player game now without worrying about any of that shit. And I'm like, cool, I'll play this game now.
If only you did that. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Just gonna hold my tongue.
I mean, it's the same as the first game so far, which is fine because I just wanted something to just bop about in for a little bit and not worry too much about. And I'm like, the Lord of the Rings TV show wasn't very good.
Wait, that already came out?
Yeah, that came out like
Forgot about
last
that.
year.
It's like Amazon Prime or something.
Yes, yeah. So I just thought I'd try it, and I'm enjoying it so
I think
far.
you should play the Gollum game instead.
Well, so that partly when I saw that this was on there, I'm like, the Gollum game has reviewed incredibly poorly. Let's maybe play this one instead. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I might chat about it next week after or something, but I'm playing it, and it's the same as the first game, so I don't know if my thoughts on the first game exist anywhere on the internet, but they may do.
Okay.
I mean, so the real question is, so you're basically saying if someone's interested in that type of game, just buy the one that's cheaper, it's the same game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Buy the first game. The first game's really good.
Or buy the real Game of the Year 2014 in South Park and the Stick of Truth.
Well, what I needed was a game I could play with children in the room. And this is just man flesh. That's fine. Who cares?
It's that time they learned about doing things to your uncle.
I mean, well, when I was playing Life is Strange, I was like, why do they say fuck? I'm like, oh my god, stop reading the screen. Sure. So I needed to find something that was just mindless and I could just put on whilst I'm just chilling out.
Aren't those orcs a bit, sweary though?
Yeah, they're probably swearing orcish though, so they're like,
not so far.
Aren't they like, we'll crush you into a mince pie?
I mean, that's not very sweary, so that's fine.
Depends how you feel about mince pie.
I mean, that's probably what Evelyn would say to me if she was trying to fight me. So we're already there. That is her level of, aggression, which is fine. Yes, so that's what I've been playing on PlayStation. But I have put a reasonable amount of time on the PC into a game called After Us, which is newly-ish released. Did it come out last week? Maybe the week before. But recently, it's a new game from Piccolo Studio, who made Arise, a game I did not play.
Maybe it's not them. Hold on, what else have they made?
I think that's it. I think Arise and then After Us.
I know, I'm thinking of Coco Cucumber, sorry. Not Pickle.
Not related, I don't think.
No, I like Coco Cucumber. That's funny.
I don't even know what that is.
That's another indie dev.
Okay.
But cucumbers, pickles, I think that's where I got it. Oh dear. That's funny.
So, After Us. I have, as I say, I've put a reasonable amount of time in. And the game is essentially a platformer, right? You don't do a huge amount more than kind of traverse the world, really. There's not really any combat, although there are kind of encounters. But you're kind of this like fairy, fae sort of spirit creature, and the world is dying, and you have to go around and release the spirits of animals to help the. It's very Zelda to start with, very Ocarina of Time. There's a tree, and it is the life of things. Yeah. And the tree talks to you and says, "Please traverse the world and help me bring life back to the world." Unlike Zelda, it's not an open world game. It's very linear in what you're doing. You're pushing through a very linear path, moving through it to get to each animal spirit, and all you are doing is traversing through this world. You're platforming through it, and it's quite abstract in that it isn't sort of the real world. It takes lots of elements from the world, so it might be a set of roads with lots of cars on them, but they're just like floating in the sky, and they're all very broken, so you have to traverse between them. And whilst it's a little bit kind of it sort of almost wants to tell you a story about environmentalism and stuff, but it's made it a little bit too abstract to kind of draw on that sort of element. And I don't know whether it's trying to talk about that, or whether this is just the setting that they have gone for rather than there being a message. The really good thing about this game is the traversal. It is the control of the character moving through the world. It's very, very fluid. Even when you're going really, really quickly, it feels very, very good to move through this world. And if you want a platformer that is kind of just moving through incredibly well lit and very visually stunning environments, then this is what you want. It's almost like Gree, but rather than it being kind of like that more watercolor painted art style, it is a much more kind of not quite real world again, but very kind of gritty kind of 3D environment that you're moving through. There's lots
Does it look like Control?
Like with the lighting, it's a little bit more maybe. What would I compare it to?
Oh, I see.
I don't know what I compare it to actually.
It's reminiscent of other games that we've seen, but none are coming to mind.
Yes. But as I say, it's kind of, I suppose that's the difference between kind of taking a style and then making it quite abstract and being like, cool, everything is on like just floating platforms in the sky and everything is fragmented and you have to jump and dash and dodge and move between them. As I said, there's a little bit of combat. You have the spirit from the tree with you and you can kind of throw it out into the world and draw it back to you. And so the enemies who have this sludge all over them, which kind of is all around the world and limits the boundaries in where you can actually move in these environments. You can't go in the sludge. You can throw the spirit out and pull it back to you, and if it hits through these enemies, it stops them. It's quite, again, they definitely played inside, because it's kind of all and a little bit of limbo, because it's one of those where when the enemies grab you, they're very kind of like they're all over you kind of thing. It has that creepiness and that sort of tense nature about it when you get into some of these kind of combats. They've probably played like Little Nightmares as well. There's lots of like weird like static tellies on enemies and things like that, which acts as shields and those sorts of things as well. So it has a little bit of variety to it. But I'd be more than happy if this game didn't have any combat in it. And it was just me traversing through the world, releasing spirits, going off the beaten path to find, again, almost like minor spirits, I suppose. But each big spirit has like a constellation. And in that area, you can find minor spirits, which fill this in. And suddenly, the animals that you found the spirit of populate the world. So I found a horse spirit, and suddenly in the distance there's just a bunch of horses just running in the distance kind of thing. And so it's this kind of not living world, but it's adding to it. There's this almost, I suppose, sense of achievement. You're like, cool, I found these spirits. It's not a dead, unmoving world, because now I'm populating it with kind of life and things. And it's quite, the challenge in its platforming so far has been ramping up quite nicely. Nothing has seemed that difficult yet, and I'm on the second spirit, and I think there's about 10. And it's all seemed very kind of doable, and any mistakes and any deaths that I've had, I'm like, cool, I get what I've done. I can remedy that. I can do it in a slightly different way. So you can dash, you can float, you can run very fast. It's got a few different types of jumps. So if you're running, if you're kind of boosting and you jump, you do a long jump. If you're just moving normally and you jump, it does a high jump. So there's lots of different levels of movement to it as well, to be able to kind of traverse through. And that's really nice. in kind of being like, cool, I know I need to go up there, and it's really intuitive. I mean, like, I know I've just got to hold X or hold A, and I would just jump that little bit higher, or I can just boost on one of the shoulder buttons, and because there's this big jump coming up, so if I boost and I jump and then I dash, I know that I'm going to kind of get to that next platform. And actually it's more the direction in which I push the character which might be setting me off, so it gives you a little bit of challenge in its kind of platforming as well. But as I say, that's kind of all it is at the moment. I don't know whether it's trying to elicit much from me, but it very much sets the scene of lush world. Something has happened. There's lots of very still human figures throughout the world, and the enemies are then those human figures, but with the sludge on them and stuff. So I don't know whether it's trying to sort of say humans have fucked this world up. There's spirits in some kind of way which has to bring life back to the world, and plants and animals have retaken this space. And actually you're moving through this very abstract, weird area. I don't know what it's trying to tell me. And I think that's its only downfall so far.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit kind of like...
Be clear.
Yeah, but I mean, be clear. Give us just give me a little bit more.
Yeah.
In what you're sort of saying, because again, the character kind of the first spirit was a dog, and you come across this like husk of a corpse of this dog when you move through the first set of environments, and you kind of just, it's through just a scene, and the spirit jumps out of the dog and runs around a little bit, and you're like, cool, okay,
cool story, bro.
Okay, all right, cool. I've done the dog. What's next?
Save the dog.
Cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me any more than that. There wasn't any kind of, something happened to this dog, or there's a reason that this dog is important for some reason, or dogs. It's just animal husk, and it is now spirit. Cool. Okay.
That's what I am.
So
an animal husk.
Aren't we all? So yeah, I need a little bit more from this. But if you're looking for a platformer, and it's a nice game to play alongside like Darkest Dungeon, which I've been playing a little bit of as well, because Darkest Dungeon is just fucking pain and death constantly, and this is pain and death has happened, and you're just moving very fluidly and very nicely through this world, very satisfactorily through this world, to then be like, cool, here is some life, and sure, cool, fine, thanks. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the movement, and I'm enjoying kind of exploring through the world. But that's kind of all it's giving me. It's not jumping out and sort of saying, we're fucking things up, everybody. Which I expect it to. The kind of the tone that it's gone through, the aesthetic, the sludge, the people being the enemies, all of this sort of stuff suggests to me that it wants to say, let's stop fucking things up. But it's not actually doing that.
Right.
And I don't know whether that's a choice, whether it's just a limitation of maybe team size or deadlines and things like that, or whether they've gone, let's just not put that in and allow people to make their own minds up. It is abstract. It's completely abstract. I just need something a bit more solid from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's sometimes the downfall of a lot of indie games, where they want to portray meaning, but I think a lot of the time it does just come down to budget, not being able to, elicit human emotions in like ways that something like, I don't know, The Last of Us would.
Sure.
Big budget, so they have to be a bit more abstract about it, and then things get lost in the meaning. But
Yeah, and it's a team of about 20 to 30 people. I've chosen my beer well. They're based in Barcelona. So obviously something in my mind was drawing the two of them together. But yeah, it's about 20-ish sort of people. So yeah, a smaller team. Arise, their previous game was 2019. So it's 3.5, 4 years of something in development. Whether it's this, whether this is pulled out of it.
Yeah, people seem to like Arise.
Yeah. I don't know so much about sort of After Us and whether people are hot on it. Let's have a quick look on Steam. Again, reviews mostly positive. 37 reviews at the moment. Unlike The Shape of Things, which only had one negative review, this has got a few. Some of them are in Spanish, so I can't tell you what that one says. People complaining about the price because, of course. So yeah, there's a little bit of stuff around here. Come on, Lucy. Use the degree and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, the only way I'll ever use it. Get rid of my language. Either negative. Is that French? What about the French one?
Or is it French?
That starts in catastrophique. I think you would have been able to guess what that means anyway. Let's move on because I haven't set my languages. Maybe I should do that now. I'll do that now.
Do that now. Well, sure.
Good. Secondary languages, because that's useful. Sometimes when it is just only English and it's like, and it's one review, it's like, okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I will keep playing it because it is just a good kind of. I've got like 30 minutes. I'll just move through this world because it's very satisfying to do so. And I kind of just want to turn off a little bit and play something. Darkest Dungeon takes a lot of thought and planning and is one where you have to be engaged, whereas After Us, not necessary to be that engaged. You've got to be looking at where you're jumping and the timing of your platforming and those kinds of things. But it's not, it's not twitchy. It's not like Celeste, where you have to be incredibly twitchy with your platforming and how you're moving through those environments. This is much more kind of like, cool, bump, 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 satisfactory, great, perfect. Right. Also, absolutely zero consequence to death. I've fallen off. I'm just back where I began. Fine. Cool. I'll just do it again. That's which is nice. Which is nice.
In Portuguese.
Was that? I say Spanish. Was it a Portuguese one that I saw?
What did it start with? In your best.
In my best Portuguese. After Us, no reinventa los juegos de plataformas. Ni falta que
you can guess what that means.
It doesn't reinvent the platform. Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah. It doesn't. Absolutely.
It's an experience, an emotional experience that combines dazzling graphics and and a magnificent art direction. Create a desolate atmosphere, which emotional story and about the preservation of nature.
Yeah, I haven't got to that bit yet.
I mean, that's what they're getting from it as well. The level design allows for freedom of exploration and introduces new mechanics.
It does throw a few things in.
Keeping the gameplay fresh and enjoyable.
Yeah. But it's kind of one of those that I think if this had been given, again, it doesn't need any more time to tighten up the play. It just needed a bit more time and a bit more thought into the presentation, how this was, and whether there is a message to it or not. And I might get right to the end, and then like, here is the message. I'm like, cool. Yes, you kind of, I can see where you were aiming, but this should have been splattered kind of through the game.
Okay, so the negative review you're reading is, I think they're basically saying, to get the message across the players, you don't need like long dialogues, like a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I think this person wants it to be more abstract.
Okay.
As you say, maybe everyone approaches this in a different way.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Again, I don't need long dialogues. I'm not looking for long dialogues. You want to get, the point of this game is the platform. You want to get straight to the action. You want that to happen. But there's lots of stuff that could be happening whilst you're doing that can convey what they want the message to sort of be. And there's little bits, and yes, stuff is bad, environment is good. You can get through it, but I just need more. Just need something that kind of just hammers that home a little bit more than just sort of like, yes, the world is broken, and plants will make it better.
I mean, power plants?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely not. But yeah. So that's after us, or at least my thoughts on the first bit of it. So as I say, great for platforming, and really good as a kind of secondary game if you're playing something that's a bit more brutal,
involved,
like Darkest Dungeon 2, or a bit more involved. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not that long a game, hey?
After us, probably.
The person who didn't like it has played 15 hours.
Yeah. Lots of the other recommendations come at sort of 2-ish. Those other people, they played for 26. Someone else has played for 19, 20 hours.
I think that shows that, like you were saying, the traversal must be really fun, because How Long to Beat has it as 6.5 main story, completionist 8.5. So the fact that people are doing that twice over just for funsies, or they're not using How Long to Beat well. Oh yeah, there's no, never mind. There's been like 4 people polled totally.
Right. I've got 3 hours so far.
Yeah.
Oh, 2.9. So.
The person who played 15 didn't like it. They said that they encountered some bugs, but
so they probably just left it on.
Yeah, I've not come across bugs yet. It's very well made.
But they only played 3 days after. Well, they rated it 3 days after it came out, so maybe they played more since post-patch or something. I don't know.
Potentially. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we might talk about it again. Who knows? We shall see. I'll find it. It will get right to the end, and it'll be like the best message it could ever have given me, or something like that. So yeah, we will come back potentially to it. Aadil, we haven't touched on stuff that you've been up to. I'm very happy that you're here. Hooray! You're back.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
It has, but I imagine because you're an incredibly busy human, there haven't been many games.
No, but tonight after we log off, I've committed to crawling in bed with a Steam Deck, turning it on, and yeah, I was gonna say, and cuddling it for warmth because it's such a hot machine. No, yeah, I don't know. I just it's been a very, very strange year.
I agree.
Those keeping score did not get the job. But we'll probably get the same half shitty temporary job next year here if I want it. and have a better idea of how to not overwork myself so I can not lose time with my friends and hobbies. I think today, after this, I'm saying fuck it and finally starting Obra Dinn.
Oh, wow.
Been a long time.
Because it's, yeah,
Did you finish Case of the Golden Idol?
No, because I'm playing them M and we haven't had any time to play games.
I completed the DLC.
How was the DLC?
It's really good. Buy it when you.
I mean, I'll wait until I'm actually done the OG game. I'm assuming it's after plot DLC.
Well, it's a prequel, but yeah, it's best to play it after you finish the main game.
It's hopefully by the time that happens, the DLC will be pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be more DLC. Give it to me.
I don't think it was DLC wise. It wasn't very much, was it?
No, it was like £5, I think.
Yeah, it's Spider of Lincoln. 4.99 pounds. That's how humans speak.
So Obra Dinn, you're gonna actually get into it. Okay.
I just
makes
was
me
like,
happy.
yeah, I was just like, you know what? I want to play a game. Oh, I know what game I want to play. I don't care anymore. I'm not trying to optimize some sort of queue or wait to see if someone wants to replay it. I'm just gonna fucking overheat the my crotch with the Steam Deck and have at.
No, that's fair. Absolutely fair. The only thing
Hot and heavy night with the Steam
the only
Deck.
thing I would say is have a pen and paper close by.
Oh, I was gonna use
Oh, sure.
Phone.
Yeah, your phone.
No,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I did it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, now that you say that, I do like writing things down on dead trees, and it seems like given the time frame of the game, I feel like writing on dead trees makes more sense than.
We'll tune in next week, and actually it'll be on the whiteboard. Just this massively interlinked thing where you haven't put it on the paper. You've just gone on the whiteboard and just mapped it all out.
Yeah, that would be good. Anyone walked in there, they think you're insane, but it'd be very good. Got it on the whiteboard.
Like, I'm an insurance man. It's fine.
Lol.
I was tempted like a few weeks ago. I was thinking, oh, I wonder if Aadil started it yet. Should I replay it? Because I've not forgot the major beats, but I've definitely forgot who each person is.
Right.
Absolutely.
I've forgotten the difference between a coxswain and a boatsman or whatever.
I enjoyed that buzz a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I remember. It's like because you're talking about remembering things. Like I can't remember the difference between term I vaguely remember and oh fuck I don't remember any other terms. You're like really the meta level proving your point.
The deputy boatsman or whatever it is. I don't know.
Deputy boatsman. I mean, everyone's going to remember the word coxswain, aren't they? To be fair.
Yeah.
So
I'm not even sure if that's in the game.
Or just in your lexicon?
Boatsman. Yeah, maybe it's just in my lexicon. It's a good Scrabble word.
Is it? I don't even know what makes a good Scrabble word.
Don't
I just
you play
assume
Scrabble?
it's a short one.
It's got C, so that's 3 points. It's got an X, which is 8. W,
Yeah, but it's long,
which is,
right?
Yeah.
But like Scrabble's
yeah,
won by
and it's
bullshit
7
words.
letters, is it? Or is it 8? So it's not. Yeah, it is. But if you want, just don't be an idiot playing Scrabble. There's this unwritten code where you're just not a moron, just and put like XU down.
I mean, that's how people win at Scrabble, right?
I know, and I was the queen of what was it?
Indie games.
The Battle Royale.
Oh
I was
yeah.
notorious for putting really nonsensical words down and just killing people. Oh, I should get back into that game. I became a savage. Playing that game, I was like, I'm gonna kill everyone. It's so good winning that game. Yeah. Anyway, Battle Royale. Am I frozen?
Good. No. It's,
No. We're just basking in
my
all
battle
of
royale.
that. Yeah.
I hope it's still online. That would be upsetting.
We'll find out next week. Let's finish there then for this episode. Everybody tune in next week because we're going to just launch straight into more chat about Obra Dinn, hopefully. Maybe all of us should just have a little replay, even just 5 minutes, just to jump back in and be like, I've got no idea what's going on. Amazing. But we'll see.
Great.
We'll see on the next episode. Let's roll back round to beers then. Aadil, you kicked us off.
Yeah.
How was the Pastore?
Fantastic. That's it. It was great. It aged really well. I got used to a bit of that tartness, which made it easier to drink. So it still had this lovely long finish, but it wasn't overstaying its welcome. And just because of that hit of that sour being sort of a half second after your first of the beginning of the taste, and sort of not overstaying means it was still quite fresh. Even those last sips, It's like, oh yeah, but also it has a nice hit of sour that doesn't overstay its welcome, and everything else is really well balanced. I'm actually now super curious what one of their sours that's not a collaboration might taste like. And I have one, I think, in my fridge.
Nice.
But it's a daiquiri type thing, and I was like, I don't know when I'll be in the mood for that. Also, I believe this is 6%. The other one might be closer to 9.
It's one to pull out when you're very lost on Obra Dinn. You're like, fuck it. Let's get another beer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's get another beer and stay up all night to figure this shit out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Nice. Lucy, the Wild Horse.
Yeah, it's really good. Still just supping on it. It's very, very good. Like what you want from an IPA. Just a really good combination of hops. I mean, I love Mosaic. Put it in every beer. But yeah, fruity, juicy. Nice bit of bitterness at the end. Piney. It's really well balanced from start to finish. So that's why I've just been chilling with it. It's not one that it's just like needed to just smash back. Just very, very, very good social.
That's great.
Social beer.
Good.
Feels good afterward.
I feel the same. I feel good after this. Uncensored Sports Parade. It's just a weird name, sure, but it's a very good beer. It's smooth. It's soft. It runs through a bunch of different flavors. Again, as it got towards the end of the beer, those flavors lost a little bit of their initial punch, to be expected. But they didn't lose the flavour. So I'm still getting all of those tropical kind of pineapples, maybe a touch of something like orange as well, into those kind of more tropical stone fruits like mango. And the pine is the thing that's maybe just dialed back a little bit as I've drank through it. But, not like instantly. It wasn't sort of 4 sips in and suddenly the pininess is gone. That has really gradually disappeared, and gradually disappeared so much that until you think about the beer again, you don't actually realise it's gone. So it's done that kind of balance over the course of the beer very, very well, where it's not sort of a sudden sharp, this beer is different. You just don't pick up on it. It is just the beer flowing very nicely through those different kind of elements to it. So yeah, incredibly well made, which you would expect from Verdant and Garage. So currently, I think, one of my favourite beers this year.
Nice, wow.
No, very good.
So yeah, I'll throw it out there now. Good.
I think one of my favourite beers of the year was the Glass House Dipper Free.
Yes, a few weeks back.
And I have number 4.
Ooh.
Blue tap. Number 4. Number 4. In the fridge.
Nice.
So,
Are they
nice.
releasing a new version every so often? Are they kind of doing it when they want to?
Not a clue. Maybe I should
Okay.
go on social media and figure it out. I just saw it on Instagram. I was like, oh, I like that. Oh, it's at the Wolf. Okay, I'll go pick it up for an extortionate amount of money. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm reckless.
That's fair. That's fair. It's not kind of in the same vein as Cloudwater, where it's like it's some kind of anniversary or it's some kind of thing for us to be like, we're now making Dipper version 5 because of this, and then we're making version 6 and version 7 alongside each other because of this. It's more sort of just, I suppose, who knows? We can find out, probably.
To research, yeah.
We could always email them, I suppose.
Or I could just knock on their door. And
that's true. Yeah, just go around there and ask.
Scare them.
If
Some rape community.
like, when's version 5 coming out? Get to tell me!
Yeah.
Just enraged Lucy on their doorstep at 6 o'clock in the morning one day. Dear listener, if you know, or if you work for Glasshouse and you know, tell us on the socials at Tanked Upcast on both Instagram and on Twitter. Have we been very busy on Instagram? No, we have not, because no one's got any time. So, but come and chat to us anyway. I'm at Nova_47. Lucy is
Kind of tired. And Juicy Loose 9.
Yeah, that's fair. And Aadil is.
I'm at the Omniarch.
And all of us.
And if you're fans of Ryan Johnson films, I think I mentioned this a couple years ago when I was part of the Knives Out Minute podcast, the Minute by Minute podcast on Knives Out. I am one of the guest hosts of Glass Onion Minute. And last week or the week before was my first 5 with a guest, and I'll have 2 or 3 more of those. So if you want to hear my opinions of Glass Onion, and by that I mean me getting distracted by a guest with a guest for 40 minutes on a minute, 5 days in a week, several weeks in a row.
Please say that you're doing Poker Face later.
Poker Face?
Isn't that the Natasha?
Oh, you're talking about, so hilariously, one of my minutes was where we see Benoit in the bathtub, and he's playing Among Us with Angela Lansbury, Stephen Sondheim, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Natasha Lyonne, who is the Poker Face. And that, again, was a 40-minute conversation about that minute in that tub.
Nice.
I mean, I need to get on that when you do Poker Face, because
we're not doing Poker Face.
Don't do Poker Face.
Well, I'm literally just someone is running this podcast, and they're like, "Do you want to do this?"
Infiltrate.
What I'm hearing is Lucy wants to host a Poker Face podcast.
Yeah, me and you will do it. Deal done.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing just Ryan Johnson films, you could kind of go back to Brick or something, couldn't you? Just work through each of them.
So this is the thing where like I don't have anything to do except like I wasn't even quite asked to be a host. I was just suddenly in the list of, you volunteered to be a host for this. And I was like, but also I've done several minute by minute things with this podcasting group, right? And this is the first time in the instructions for hosts, because like he doesn't like it's like here you're a guest host for a week, so 5 minutes Monday to Friday release with a guest, and then if you might be a host multiple weeks. The first time I've ever seen him be like, minimum 15 minutes, maximum 45. And then if you look at the logs of the ones I've had, I'm consistently hitting the 40-minute mark when no one else is getting close. It's like, yep.
That is a
I'll
skill.
Rules. Yeah.
That is a skill.
Yeah. Anyway, Glass Onion Minute, at Glass Onion Min. I think it's the thing if you want to look at the Twitter.
Nice. Perfect. Good. Go to outoflies.net for all of the things that we do, to see our faces, to see the beers that we have drank this evening. Lee, as we mentioned earlier, has got a Planet of Lana review coming in the next few days, I believe, within a week at least, which will go up. Which it's always nice to have differing thoughts from the same outlet, let's say, on this. Because, of course, we will chat in the Discord, which you can hit us up and get a link to, about these games. And so it's always nice to see those conversations unfold between everybody and then see their write-ups or discussions kind of on the podcast about these sorts of things. So that will be on outoflives.net at some point. Go to the YouTube page, rate and review us on your podcast service of choice. Join us on Twitch each and every week. All of those things, I think, rounds up everything. Do either of you have any pearls of wisdom, words, thoughts, or anything you'd like to share?
Go watch GDQ and donate to MSF. My favourite run so far is Peggle. Because
how do you speedrun
Peggle's
Peggle?
great. Just play it really quickly.
Oh, wait, sure, fair enough. Yeah.
Do you need any more explanation?
No. I mean, as with every game, it's exactly the same. Perfect.
It's good. It's fascinating. They have all the VODs on, so yeah. Even you can probably watch the first 2 minutes and be like, oh yeah, this guy's just really good at Peggle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good.
That's how you speedrun it. Be very good at it.
Absolutely. And spend your time going to do that, friends. Or become incredibly good at a game like Peggle that you can then be said speedrunner at said random game and help out good causes through those kinds of I was going to say programs, but it's not a program. What is it?
Avenues.
Yes.
Ways.
Platforms.
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll return very, very soon. We've been tagged up. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
www.outoflives.net